I feel like I need a translator, right? With the things that I say, I'm bringing such high level idea. No, no. But thank you for that. It is. I think it is very helpful in that sense for these plebs. So to speak.
Definitely such such
All the things that
Yeah. By the way, such abstract.
Right now,
You can find me at such abstract. You can find me at such abstract.
Alright, so focusing in on the last two bans coming out from Bleed and Asteris, we see Moskov as well as Carry being banned out for Bleed. Securing the gold laner makes perfect sense earlier on, thus we see gold lane focused bans coming out from the side of Bleed. For Asteris, we see the Paquito as well as the Hellcurt, a little bit of a nod towards the side of Gear with the Hellcurt ban, seeing that he's probably, I think, one of the only one, if not two people that play Hellcurt during the final week of the regular season. And we see Bleed slotting in Arlott, as well as Yi coming out for Jay for Bleed. On the side for Asteris, we see the Claude being slotted in, and they have got, I guess, the Rome that's left open right now.
Okay, I always find the Yve kind of funny. It's not in the greatest spot. I think we've seen even the power of the Farza even earlier today. So, like, why would you limit yourself here? In you know, the real manipulation, the box is much smaller. It seems like it's not the most ideal pick, especially, again, with the Farza still open.
Yeah, not to mention, right, I mean, the thing is that usually with Yve, they want some form of crowd control, some form of CC that allows them to group something together. Pairing Yve with something like the Yuzong may actually be pretty good, right? Because you can kind of group up and herd the enemy team in a circle, and then when Yve uses the real world manipulation, she's able to then maximize damage that she outputs from there. We do see the Minotaur being locked in for Asteris, which I was about to say would be good for the side of Bleed, right? Minotaur, Minnow, and Fury together, real manipulation is disgusting.
Croissant, you can't be like, after they make the pick, you'd be like, yeah, I was, thinking that. Like, no, you're too late, man.
No, I was gonna say that it's good for Bleed. So Bleed not picking that up, right? It's actually gonna be super detrimental.
It's because you're trying to make it like this portent, but you call it after they made the pick. That's not helpful.
Hey, I mean, look, it just shows that I'm in sync together with the teams today, boys. So we're gonna head straight into match 6, guys. This is the first game of the lower bracket quarterfinals. Bleed versus Asteris, lads. There's once again a little bit of beef going on between these two teams. Asteris lost the last time around they faced Bleed. We're gonna see if they have something to say about that today. All right, guys. Once again, we're always gonna start off with the general question: who has the easier matchup to play, team composition to play?
Probably Asteris for me. I'll probably call it for Asteris. They do have a pretty much a plug-and-play kind of composition. Their initial 3, their core 3 being the Fredrin, Xbox, and Valentina, pretty much just fit them in any kind of lineups pretty easily. Putting a Claude and a Minotaur in just basically suggests deathball, and they will be able to successfully do that if they have a Fredrin as well. If they want to do a little bit of a pick-off, they can definitely do that as well. Wow, okay, not something that we were expecting, but that is definitely a first blood that's going over to the hands of Asteris.
That was really, really quick. I'd love to see a quick replay as to what happened over there, but it seemed like a bit of a skirmish was happening up top, trying to get, I think, Kiwi some space, because I saw just now that Jay was actually being able to push Kiwi into his lane underneath the turret, was not able, so we didn't give Kiwi enough space to farm the creeps underneath the turret.
Okay, if we're going to talk about this bottom, the gold laner right here, right? Seiji versus, Chu, who are you giving the edge to in terms of the... Sorry?
Seiji. 100% Seiji, because the thing is that we saw, that's a lot of damage. We saw just now actually a little bit of a sneak preview of this matchup, right, when we saw RSG fighting against NIP Flash. NIP Flash at the time playing the Claude, and I think CS was on the Roger. Roger was actually dominating Claude in lane, and Vanix was actually a little bit behind, and those opponents have
In the meantime, top lane does seem like we have 3 men jump in coming from the side of Bleed, wanting to get a kill down on the Bear, with Yon being in the front lines and here actually becoming in as well. This 4-man team from Bleed unfortunately did not manage to reap any rewards.
Yeah, it was a pretty sizable... Okay, what they were trying to... Bleed was trying to go for the gank in the top lane. They had 4 members. It's a pretty sizable commitment. But again, Bear is on the export. You had that Faraga armor armor so that you have that get out of jail free
Oh
card.
no,
But
the final slash, the flicker final slash did not manage to land on anyone. JH subsequently takes down the turtle as well as Arlet himself. Yon now taking a quick little back home trip, but it doesn't seem like he will be able to do that as we do have the Earth Shatter connecting onto him, bringing him down and leaving Gear currently in his Primal Wrath form, unable to do anything without Firelax, but immediately resummoning Firelax to make sure that he have got all the defenses he need.
Sagitnu with the air ball in that final slash completely whiffs out. Then he gets killed. That was probably not exactly a highlight, but like a low light at that point, kind of.
A high low light maybe.
A high low light. Not the greatest. But again, Asteris up 3-0. This is kind of what we expected out of Asteris, or at least I did, because I've been on this train since. You guys have been, on and off. But, the bandwagon goes real slow, so you can, get on and off whenever you want, right?
That is true, but I'm still confident in the Bleed boys right now. We see 1.4k gold lead to Asteris. That's actually pretty significant considering that we're only 3.5 minutes into the game. Honestly, Bleed not really looking like the complete team that I know and love. So a little bit concerning going into game 1, but keep in mind this is the first game of the series and things can still be happening.
A big jump onto FMM, but it's all just a quick little poke onto the members of Asteris. Bleed have not much of an intention, but really just to bring down FMM's HP just by a tad bit.
Yeah, still very early. I mean, they're just kind of feeling each other out. Where are the weaknesses, right? You have another 30 more seconds before the turtle is up. This is kind of like a moment of, can I get a pick-off, hopefully in time? I mean, the 20 seconds is still going to be there. JH is spending a lot of time just looking for that potential pick-off. Here comes Yon.
But it doesn't seem like they managed to connect with anyone just yet. JH has really been putting his time down and bottoming quite a bit, but it's not as bad as compared to Yon, because Yon is currently still at level 6. In fact, JH is one full level in front of Yon. So this is actually not going to be very good for Bleed to take on this fight.
But Bleed doesn't have a choice, right? The thing is that if Bleed gives this turtle free, they can't handshake anything else on the map. Right now, top lane is open, but Bleed is opting to choose for this fight. They want to contest.
But it doesn't seem like they will be able to land anything when it comes down to the RWM. Sagitnu jumps himself on Kiwi. The Primal Wrap is going to be activated. They were all going to be focusing on Sagitnu with a 3-man Minoan's Fury, followed by a skill 1 from FMM continues onwards. They managed to knock 3 on top of that. This pushes Bleed all the way back and getting 1 kill on the Sagitnu, and in turn, also getting the turtle for themselves.
What is Bleed doing? I mean, they literally popped 2 ultimates before the fight even started. They did not have as many ultimates as Asteris going into the turtle fight. And look at this.
GG, HP not looking good. Chew with the PDMI. Tries to get him running himself away, but Gear expected a flicker just to ensure that he will be able to avenge for Seiji.
I mean, if they didn't get that kill, it's a 1 for no trade, right? So at least the flicker was expended and the kill was secured at the end of the day. But are they pushing in too much? We see FMM and Kiwi kind of going up to the top, but it seems like nothing's going to be happening from here on.
Yeah, I mean, the kills are all going Asteris' way, but taking that top T1 definitely provides a lot of space, right? Getting the objective. The 1K net worth lead isn't the end of the world, especially at this stage. There's a lot, but the final slash?
Doesn't seem like he's going to go under the turret for an extended period of time, but he did manage to take a couple of shots. With a quick little dash out of the way as well as a retribution, slows Seiji just enough to ensure that he will be able to get right out of harm's way.
Keep in mind that this is Sagitnu on one of his signature champions. This is one of his signature heroes, right? Arlott can be played by both Gear as well as Sagitnu. But honestly, the performance that I've seen this game on the Arlott with Sagitnu, it does not seem very promising, honestly. It feels like something is missing from this Bleed that I know, right? They seem a little bit out of shape at this point.
What do you think is that missing piece?
Mental.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion, right? Like, Sagitnu is making some plays which I haven't seen him do all regular season, right? He's missing spinal slashes. He's not committing to it. And when he does commit to it, he's committing at the wrong time. His team isn't even close to him so far.
Right. I feel like this is a breakup about to happen. You're like, oh, you've changed, not me. But I don't know what's changed about Bleed exactly, right? There's like one of those weird awkwardness. But onwards.
It really feels as though there is a lot of pressure onto the side of Bleed. I'm not too sure exactly what that pressure is, but maybe the thought of losing the entirety of MPL SG Season 7 have gotten to their heads. They're getting this. They're starting to look a little bit feisty and a little bit.
JH!
Wait, did JH actually take it?
He
Oh
stole it.
my god!
He stole it.
Absolutely disgusting! And on top of that, it does seem like Bleed is not happy about the steal. They all went forward to JH and drop him all the way down to 30% HP. But quickly after that, JH managed to get away. Barrett uses expended all his Viraga armor and got himself away.
Well, but look at that, right? Sagino used the final slash, and honestly speaking, that was a good final slash, but the rest of the team were not there to follow up. Guys, it seems like Bleed is just not communicating.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out. But it looks like there's a bit of a skirmish in the mid lane here.
With a quick initiation onto gear and follow on through with a 4-man knockout coming from FMM. They're going to be diving down on the turret. Yon is hoping that he'll be able to stay alive for a little while longer. And JH with the Appraiser's Wrath just going to be landing on top of Yon. But unfortunately, just leaving with a tad little bit of HP for him to recall back home. Asteris would now take this opportunity to knock down this turret in the middle lane. As for now, Kiwi stolen away the RWM, hoping that he will be able to catch onto Jay.
That was nasty. Bleed just got eliminated from the middle of the lane. I mean, that was a fight that they were supposed to even take. I mean, look, FMM brought the fight to them, right? It was a really nice flicker into Minnow and Fury into skill 1. It was perfect. They caught 3 people, 4 people, and then the follow-up from the Blazing Duet from the stolen Real Manipulation is just flawless. Asteris is on form, but there's a fight breaking down the mid.
Aggressiveness all the way down to the bottom lane. They really want the blood of Bear, or can I say the oil of Bear, because he's the robot. Xbox, haha, moving on.
I can't believe that was the joke there.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about bears, and then I was like, wait, oil? Like, I didn't understand. But then the export
Maybe
thing, I was like,
okay. Oil of Xbox and just put the
that was-
context there. I'll do better. Be better. Be better, Holler.
Be better, Holler. Be better. I'm sorry, be better.
Why like this?
Okay, so going back into the game, we see the Lord being started up already from JH. JH, you know, being actually, to me, guys, JH, I'm calling it MVP so far. He's been really,
it's
really
still
good.
very early.
But look, he's stolen the turtle. He's made the plays that Asteris needs so far. If it's not JH, it's FMM.
Okay. We don't crown winners after the first quarter, right? Okay, I think that we still have a long way to go. JH can mess up. But I think it would be funny if he's wrong, because anytime you're wrong, I always find it funny.
That is true. We see the Lord being started up right now, brought down to almost half HP. Bleed is really is trying to get in, but they can't find the angle to enter. FMM is being the statue there, preventing Bleed from approaching forward. FMM looking for flicker angle.
Oh yeah, but they have that bush, which is kind of a difficult situation because they have so much vision from it, but Gear gets on out of there. They scurry away all the cockroaches, so to speak.
Battle Spell economy as well as ultimate economies are all looking to find a dandy. It's all about who makes the first move, and if whether the first move is even good. Kiwi start things off by dropping Jace all the way down to half HP. Gear's HP not looking all that great as well, but now the Lord is just going to be taken by the hands of JH. And Yon was hoping he would be able to go for the sidelines to try to take the Lord away, but now he's being in the middle of all 3 members. The fight is completely going to be mixed up, as now Chu went in straight for the duel onto 3 other members, which unfortunately is not going to reap any rewards.
But you know, that's the problem, right? If a Claude can go into 3 members and chase people away, you know, that's a problem that Bleed can't have on their plate as of right now. Literally 1v3, and you're able to chunk down 3 of the team members to like half HP. By the way, Jay popped RWM to try to chase Chu away. So there's one more wasted ultimate.
Yeah, it's a lot committed. I mean, okay, another thing that we need to do is I wish we could have a counter of Sagitnu's missed air balls of the final slash, because he's had at least 2, maybe even 3. Okay, he misses. He gets the minion on the catapult. So Sagitnu's really hasn't gotten too much value out of the final slashes throughout the entire game. And I mean, you really need to hit those to kind of start this fight. Like, if you can get somebody pulled out, you got a chance to really make something happen. But they really haven't found that opening or that nice Final Slash that carries 3 or 4 heroes.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sakirnu is actually one of the main setup for the team.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to imagine that they would want to completely rely on the Earth Shatter coming from here. Technically, yes, you can, but the zone is kind of small if we are talking about just purely Earth Shatter.
Yeah, zone is small and it's also really unreliable. I mean, there's a really good chunk of time that it takes for the Earth Shadow to actually hit, right? So honestly speaking, look, I'm just going to count on our analyst to count the number of error slashes.
Well, as the analyst here, I forgot my abacus, so it's a little difficult.
Hey, you're not the only analyst, okay? That
Oh,
we've got
okay.
Kindofu, you know.
That guy.
That analyst.
Oh, the guy that's actually getting paid for it. Okay,
Yeah, so we are actually putting a lot of pressure onto his shoulders right now.
Yeah, counting
something
on
that he didn't ask for, by the way.
Kindofu, you have one job.
Yeah, one job. Count the number of ass slashes. But going into the game, we see the Lord spawning in about 50 seconds, but we see it's kind of like a Mexican standoff happening right now as both teams are facing off each other in the jungle, not revealing each other's presences, but both of them are grouped up as 5. They kind of know where each other are currently at, right? Which is why they're not moving forward. But it's still a kind of strange situation since there's no objectives.
I love this. It's like a giant game of hide and seek. But nobody knows who's supposed to catch the other one. Okay, Jay goes out. He does spot him out with the orb. So they gotten something. But now Gear probably should make a beeline back to base here.
Oh, were they just guarding the Fenrir?
Sorry, what?
Were they just like guarding the Fenrir?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they get in the end, so yay.
Yeah, no, but it's... I mean, a huge amount... it's a big commitment to have all 5 members to make sure that you get the Fenrir. I mean, Bleed... right now, like, scrapping for anything at this point, right? Especially with this Lord that's about to be started here. And Yon, looking for that right jump in, isn't going to go for this one.
Yeah, he's just going to do like a quick drive-by, say hi to his friends over at Asteris and come back, you know, because there's really no angle for opportunity as we see the Lord dropping down to quarter HP.
In the meantime, FMM did manage to get a quick little spot onto Gear, while Chu is just bringing down Gear's HP down to a small little amount. But we've got to take a look at the southern part of the fight, as we do have Yawn being taken away. Gear continues onto the fight. He tries to go for the Primal Wrath, was hoping that abandoning Firelight will be able to get him his HP all the way back up, but that's not going to be working for him. Sakitnu, Seiji, and Jay. It's going to be the last 3 members remaining, but they're still going to be hovering around. May not necessarily be the best idea, because they don't really have much of a setup. They don't really have much of a way to bring down the Lord. As such, Sagitnu fed himself over to the Wolves, and only then Jay and Seiji decided that it's time for them to bail.
Why does Sagitnu even go back in?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. There was really no chance that you get the Lord. It's one of those things where if one person dies, or you have a situation where it's unwinnable, you just gotta go elsewhere. You gotta split up, you gotta figure out, you gotta find some sort of farm, you know where they are, right? So that there's openings in the top lane, you have a chance. Right, but this is one of those things where it's like, I still see people. Maybe I can make some sort of play, but when you're 0-4-1, you really haven't found that right, angle, so to speak. It's been very difficult for you.
Yeah, look, I'm really, really confused. I mean, like I mentioned before, right? This is not the Bleed that we used to see in the regular season. This feels almost like a, shade maybe thrown, but like a qualifier team.
Yeah. I mean, and they can find you at such abstract. I mean, let them do so. Like, right? You're calling them out. I mean, it's what abstract's gonna do, right?
The Final Slash being used to secure the turret minion as well. So honestly,
I haven't seen anything.
It's all right, abstract.
It's okay, Holland.
Right, I forgot. I'm Holler now.
All right, so back in the mid lane, again, a bit of a standoff. Like, this is a huge net worth lead, right, by Asteris. They played this one perfectly. They've completely choked you out. You have no jungle. They have the Lord even pushing in the top lane. Asteris are having, like, basically, oh, nice Final Slash there, but Chu gets back with the image. And, again, the top lane, the top T3 has already been taken out. Asteris pushing on all fronts at this point.
Good thing that the Final Slash cooldown is actually relatively fast. So even if that has been used just now and being BMI'd away, I think that's not too big of a deal. In the meantime, here we do have JH. Oh, wait, take a look at that FMM! He did manage to go in for a pretty nice flick of jump, but when it comes down to Minoan's Fury, it didn't really quite connect onto much people.
Oh, Bear!
In the meantime, now Bear is just going to be stuck within the RWM. Immortality Pop, he still have his Fragile Armor, and Chu went back in, but quickly BMI's out. Asteris didn't even lose a single person, and manages to take away all 3 of the inhibitor turrets.
Not to mention that they are up 10.8k gold right now. Asteris having a phenomenal lead. It is honestly slightly bonkers that this is only 17 minutes into the game, guys. 10 kills ahead as well. Asteris having complete map control.
Yeah, nobody died in that last team fight, but all the T3s have been taken out. So Bleed right now, really difficult situation. They need to push things out. They need to fix the lanes. They need to push out all of the lanes so that they have a little bit of space. The next big objective, again, Lord in 20 seconds. Can Bleed get the steal? Are they able to do so? Again, they need to. You got to find some sort of farm. This is probably going to be the last potential Hail Mary play that they've got.
Yeah, but I don't even think they can afford to make the play. I mean, look at the side of Bleed. Yon isn't even at level 15 yet, so immediately JH gets the retreat advantage, right? Not to mention that they also are 10k gold down. That's 3-4 items maybe ahead that Asteris is at currently. And Seiji's only at 111. Look at the items. Okay, thanks production for pulling up the items. Only Seiji's at full item build right now. The rest of them, not even close.
Yeah, it's not close yet, but this one is very precarious situation. Gear so low. Guns get the Earthshatter though.
But he's not going to go down anytime soon. JH immediately abandoned the Lord, but quickly got himself back in right after his energy eruption. Didn't really quite connect onto anyone. Lord's HP is slowly resetting, but it's still going to be hovering right around the 20,000 HP mark. The rest of the members from Bleed, they're still trying to play a relatively slow game, and Asteris knows that playing a slow game is actually going to be relatively good to them because they have wave minions pushing in from the top lane and middle lane, so taking a fight right now is actually going to be good. As such, Kiwi popping up with the RWM. Bleed, they are still going to be focusing down to this fight. Yon is going to be going down, and Baron is still going to be stuck within of the opponent's RWM. Quickly to flicker away, immobilized, but he's going to be A-okay. We do have Chu just going to be popping right in with the Blazing Duet, but it didn't really quite connect onto anyone at all. We do have Jade just going to be running back home to try to deal with the bulk of the minions. As such, Asteris now do have the advantage in terms of numbers, but FMM's HP is down, Chu's HP is down. So Bleed, they have managed to climb themselves right out of this precarious position. They managed to defend their base and also managed to reset the Lord.
Yeah.
Wow, that actually went all in favor to get rid of Bleed, right? Bleed actually... Oh no, but guess what? Asteris is back on the Lord. Honestly speaking, it's a little bit weird. They don't have the jungler with them, but I guess Bleed as well does not have the jungler. Yon is going to be spawning back in 2 seconds though, so they do have the retreat advantage.
Yo, but Asteris did the right thing. They understood the macro well enough. They knew the top lane and middle lane pushing in, and that was where they gonna have to force the issue. But it kind of seems as though the micro during that team fight just wasn't, just didn't cut it.
You know, I fully agree with you. Macro makes perfect sense, but there's a fight breaking out. Lord.
It does seem like we come down to the last insanity. We do have Yon just gonna be bursting into oblivion. Gear somehow manages to take the Lord away, and Bleed has managed to successfully take on the 3 core members of Asteris that is holding down to the Lord.
Guys, that is huge. Look at the gold count right now. Asteris is only up 2k gold. This was from a 10k gold advantage, right? So that's 8k gold already back into Bleed's pocket. Yes, Bleed are currently naked, right? They don't have a single turret left defending their base. But if this is their time to come back in the game, it's right now.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's all in. I mean, it seems like the tipping point had happened, and the momentum is on Bleed's esports side, but look at the top lane. That's definitely a potential weakness, but with all, like, 3 members right now, there's a potential 4th that might join the fray in the bottom lane, as Yon had to go all the way back to base, but they do have that opening. The Lord charges in, they've opened it up, they've taken that bottom T3.
The Lord have managed to successfully plunder everything that Asteris love all the way from the bottom lane. We still have a couple of tier 2 turrets that are standing tall in the top lane and the bottom lane. But speaking of top lane, we do have quite a lot of mega creeps just going to be pushing in. Bleed, not too sure whether they're going to answer to that, but for now, Bleed's main idea is going to be destroying the second tier defense turret in the middle lane.
No, but this is the point that we were talking about just now, right? This is how Bleed comes back into the game, where when they enter is level 15, where the gold gap doesn't make that much of a difference anymore, and it just comes down to the micro plays. Right now, Bleed is up, by the way, 500 gold. This is a huge gold swing.
Yeah, and it all comes back to that Lord fight. I mean, yeah, like, you push it out, but you had Jay recall back to the base because he had to deal with the minions. and then you had a bit of an opening. It's one of those things where you were too aggressive. You didn't need to have been there. You didn't need to throw, so to speak. You're losing a lot of members on that one might have cost you the game, especially since the net worth lead is like shifted to bleed. But again, to your point, Kwasang, the net worth doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, we're so late in the game. It's 22 minutes in the game currently, and honestly speaking, gold does not matter. Most of the teams should be at full items. It'd be great if we could have the items on the screen. Just to clarify that, perfect. Yeah, look, most teams have their full items. If not, they have just half a component left to build. So at this point in time, gold does not really make that big of a difference. It comes down to the actual micro plays for both teams.
Okay, so your top and mid lane for Asteris is going to push a little bit stronger just because you've taken out the T3s. You have those are the ones that you need to work on. Bottom is like a bit of a wash in terms of where it's a tie, right? So it won't really push. So now Asteris needs to use that as they prepare for this Lord fight, which is going to start in about 5 seconds. You need to ensure that those lanes are pushing. Maybe you have Sagitnu who's dealing with the top lane right now. You have that opening to take a fight, potentially 5 versus 4, because you need a numbers advantage. This is not something that you can win straight head on.
Or maybe you can just by outplaying, right? But the Lord has been started for the side of Asteris. Currently at 1/4 of its HP gone. Sagitnu still nowhere to be seen. But we do see Chu actually pathing up to the top side. So that means that Asteris does not have their marksman, their gold laner.
That's fine, because Asteris needs to know that, hey, since Chu is in the top lane, we don't need to push for this. We don't need to push it strong. We don't have Chu, right? So seeing as that Chu, I think he's been off the map. I don't know if Bleedy Sports spotted him out. This might be an opportunity where Bleed is like, hey, what is going on? I don't see Chu on the map. This is kind of scary. Do we go in for this Lord?
Seiji. Seiji manages to escape perfectly fine. They spot, Asteris spots Sagitnu up top, and they decide to commit, I think, a little bit for the Lord.
Go. Jumping on the gear as it realizes that the gear wanted to go over to the Z bush, but it doesn't seem like Asteris did manage to take the full HP down.
They're gonna go!
But now FMM flickers on forward. RWM is popped coming from the side of Kiwi. They didn't manage to call onto anyone except for Yon. As such, Immortality popped. Changed on RWM, where it follow through with the last Insanity. But unfortunately,
here,
both sides just not gonna be getting a single kill. It's all throughout stalemate as well. Both teams just squaring up to one another.
These fights are getting closer and closer and closer. I am so happy that this is the first game of this series. Lads, we are in for a ride. It's already 24 minutes in. Both teams, our base, have been on this Lord for at least 2 minutes already as we see a fight break out.
Big jump on the Sagitnu. They still have Immortality. The rest of Asteris quickly backed off as they realizes that they are in a very big choke, a very small choke point. We do have the Yon just gonna be jumping onto one, but quickly just retreats.
Oh, he's gonna go!
As Prazo's wrath, Kiwi takes the Lord! Kiwi! What are you doing? As now we're just gonna be left to get to it, hoping that he will be able to just running on through. Kiwi popped the Immortality was Seiji. Just in the middle of the fight. He's just trying to get himself away. FMN sacrifices himself to make sure that Kiwi will be able to successfully run away. As such, Bear, Kiwi, and JH, the last 3 members remaining from the side of Asteris, alongside with a Lord, will now prance across the battlefield.
Does Lord even matter if you're able to wipe out the entire of Asteris? Probably not, but luckily Asteris manages to survive thanks to FMM giving out his life. They also have an enhanced Lord pushing down mid, but it seems like it's going to be quickly dealt with.
Tough situation. This is as Asteris, where you're like, hey, we had we could have potentially closed this game out. Now we're on the back foot. Yeah, we have the Lord, and they're potentially going for like a conceal play, but they need to defend this T3. They need to survive. They need to clear the wave, buy time, get Chu and FMM back in, which is 30 seconds. That's an eternity at this stage.
An eternity indeed. We see top lane and bot lane pushing in towards Bleed, but mid lane is being shoved in. Bear having to use the last Insanity, the last hit to clear out the minion wave, but it seems like Asteris is going to survive this onslaught.
It's gonna be back to square one, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, but like the 4K Network League gone Bleed's way. All you need to worry about, where are the minions? Where are they pushing? Are you in danger? Then we can potentially do something. If we push it all out, we fix everything, we ensure that we're there. But Seiji, man, this guy has turned it on. He's found the right targets. He forced Chu to make some very uncomfortable plays. He doesn't want to image at times. He can't really go in with the Blazing Duet because he's being forced. And Seiji, even with the Immortality, is just, he's pouncing on you and he's basically like eating you up.
Dude, it sounds like he's turning you on at this point, man. But, you know, Seiji...
Was it that obvious?
Oh.
There's a reason why I'm sitting. I'm just kidding. what are we talking about?
Seiji is really, really, really good. And this is, like I said, I sound like a broken record at this point in time, but Seiji is one of the premier gold laners. Yes, his performance was not as stellar yesterday as it was compared to the regular season, but he is currently popping off this game. 5.5 gold lead in favor to Bleed at this point, and at this point of the game, it's gonna show which team has the better macro plays, right? You talked a little bit about how the minions waves are pushing. We see Sagitnu in mid lane trying to shove it up, but immediately a response from the side of Asteris trying to group around, trying to potentially push out the mid wave a little bit more. But you can kind of already see an invisible line. Hey, if you look at the mini map at the top left-hand corner of your screen, you can see like an invisible line being drawn off, and that's the boundary that Asteris can't push forward.
Oh my god, yeah, but look at this damage dealt. Jay, insane. What is that, 160,000? Oh my gosh.
That's almost double what True has.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. But, like, okay, I was questioning the Eve pick, but he's clearly knows what's going on. He knows how to play it to the perfection. But his orbs and his real-world manipulations have been on point. That's exactly what you want. And it's been very difficult. Like, the zoning that he provides, Jay, has just been on point. But Sagitnu going in for Bear?
Doesn't seem like they will be able to get a kill on Bad that easily. He still have a lot of Faraga armor on himself. Yon finds onto JH, but it does seem like he's going to be actually pretty isolated. But the rest of the members from the side of Bleed, they are ready to come in and jump onto Asteris whenever they find the opportunity to. But it doesn't seem like we have found that.
Yo. Look at the top lane. Gear and Seiji sneaking up to the top lane. Do they push this one out? I mean, if Asteris decides to commit for the Lord, there's a potential GG push that could happen in the top lane because there's two members. Seiji hits like a truck at this point. He would be able to clear it out. Yes, he's been spotted. Okay, it looks like Gear's going to make his way to the Lord at this point.
They can't afford to do that, I feel. Honestly, this team fight is going to make or break the game if Asteris manages to take the Lord or wipe out the rest of the members of Bleed. Seiji himself can't defend the base. They need to start grouping up as 5 as of this point in time. Yes, they got the top lane push, which is good and in favor. They also have the bot lane push and the mid lane push. Actually, all the ways are being pushed in towards Asteris' side of the base. Lord, Bleed should have the slight advantage to draw this fight out for the Lord.
Yeah, but Bleed has 4 immortalities right now. If Asteris decide to go in, it's going to be super messy. You need to ensure that you get the pick off. I would think that you maybe pop off some immortalities and get on out of there. But Bear now.
Bear.
Perhaps Bear might actually lose the Faraga armor, or maybe not. Yon's HP is just dropping all the way down because of Chu. His damage is just pretty much crazy. Sagitnu, though, have already lost his immortality all the way in the hearts of the enemies from here in Asteris. The next one is going to be Gear. He's already lost his fire lights, but he's focusing all his damage down the Bear. Immortality popped, but he still has his Faraga armor. The Brazos Rat is going to be Radiant Temp soon, or perhaps not. Chu with the Blazing Duet. He's just going to be blinding down on the Gear as well as Jay, but he quickly BMIs himself right out of there. With 2 members from the side of Bleed taken down already, Asteris is more than ready to hammer them down in a 5 versus 3 manner, with JH continuing onto a pursuit. He's not going to be giving Jay up just yet.
Okay, Bleed had like, what, 4 immortalities? That's one way of Asteris dealing with that.
He's definitely not going to give him up. He's not going to let anyone else down at this point in time. And now with the Drunken, unfortunately, Jay was not going to be able to get himself right out of there. Gear doesn't have fire legs. He's just going to be fighting back on the Kiwi and trying to get himself HP back up. But with that all said and done, it's Gear taken down. And Yon as well. The Asteris marches down in the middle lane and brings the core down.
That was such an epic game coming out from both sides. Yes, Bleed started off really shaky, but they looked as if they got their footing at the mid-game. Unfortunately, we're not able to close up the game. Congratulations to Asteris for solidifying their position right now, taking a 1-0 lead.
Okay, I feel like Asteris